Hey guys, Dorkspars here. I wanted to talk about Season 3 of Marvel Rivals and why it's probably is the most challenging season to date as far as competitive goes. Now, lately, and I don't know why, but it feels like we're pretty late into the season now as far as everyone getting placed in ranks, that the team should be pretty evenly matched. That's not the case. So we're going to use my own stats as an example. Let's go back to Season 0, where it all started, okay? So, Season 0... I never touched rank. I was just learning the game. Pretty much everyone was learning the game. I know that there was a lot of people that still touched ranked. I was not one of those people because I just wasn't confident enough to go into ranked right away, not knowing how every single hero worked. When you look at all seasons, let's just do all modes. So obviously you can see quite a list of heroes I've been playing. Obviously, my most played hero to date is Invisible Woman. More hours on her than I do Luna, and Luna was the primary hero I was playing as. Then I quickly picked up Cloak and Dagger, and now basically her and Luna have about the same amount of hours, and now Bucky's starting to come up there too, along with Emma. So I'm able to kind of flex a bit. Kind of just depends on whether or not Emma gets banned, because Emma actually is one of my better tanks. Not one of my better tanks, she is my best tank. And now that she's getting banned quite often in Season 3, that kind of puts a strain on me in particular as to who I can tank with. I can't really tank with anyone else except Emma, just because I really like Emma's playstyle. Hulk is very similar, but I can't really frontline with Hulk really well without the heals. With Emma, I can frontline pretty well and kind of sustain myself without the healing. But when you start going down the roster, and you can quickly see I have 4 heroes I have never touched. Like literally, I've never touched these heroes before. That being Black Panther, Groot, Star-Lord, and Venom. I have not touched these guys once. I have played with Black Panther once or twice in practice mode, maybe for about a couple minutes just to see how he works so I can understand how to counter him again whenever I face him. But playing as him, I just don't like his particular playstyle. I don't like really fast characters. I did play Storm, but the only time I ever played Storm was actually in Season 0. So those 11 minutes were literally when I was just starting out in Rivals. And then Thing, he's just not really my thing. I don't know why, even though he's a brawler, him and Emma are kind of up there as far as the top brawlers along with Hulk. I just didn't find him any fun. To go over to competitive. So obviously Season 0, I mean, everyone was just getting their stride in, just kind of figuring out who to play and, just basically who they're good with and who they want to start putting through rank. Season 1 was when I actually started playing competitive. And when you look at it, I was basically just healing the entire time. Just because everyone wanted to insta-lock DPS and tanks. But whatever was left was always usually healers. There were some ranked games I had where I was the only healer, but Sue was pretty powerful back then. What made her so strong back then was people weren't as strong as they are now with Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain America. Pretty much the 3 that I kind of struggle with when I'm playing as Invisible Woman. I really can't shake off a Captain America or Black Panther or Spider-Man, anything like that. Even when I'm invisible, sometimes their AoEs just hit me when I'm trying to hide or be sneaky, or I'm just trying to stand still, make him think I'm escaping when really I'm just kind of sitting in the same spot. A lot of times it just doesn't work. But Season 1 was pretty easy all around. And when you look at Season 1, my all-time high was Diamond 2. I don't know why it's saying Diamond 2 is my all-time high, with Season 1.5 saying Diamond 3. A day before Season 2 had dropped, I was at Diamond 1, 99 points out of 100. I needed like one extra day or maybe just a couple more hours of the season to be live, of Season 1 being live, to possibly have made myself into a Grandmaster. So I don't know why it's saying Diamond 2 is my highest. It's kind of weird. But when you go into the statistics for Season 1, when I first started playing, obviously here you can see what was going on there. 160 matches played, 29 hours, 85 wins. This kind of, out of 160 games, only 85 of those were wins. That's a pretty bad ratio. But I was basically a primary healer throughout the entire Season 1 and 2. But Season 2, I kind of fell off a bit because of the Chrono Shield tokens. Back then when they were giving you several Chrono Shield tokens, that was kind of a whole thing because, people didn't think that those who lost deserved to not lose their rank. If you lose, I mean, you should be getting deducted the points for that loss. You shouldn't be able to keep your rank with however many Chrono Shield tokens they used to give out. I only stayed in gold just enough to that point where I can still reap the rewards, the Emma skin and something else that was part of it. Can't remember. I just wanted to get the seasonal reward leaderboards, so I didn't really mess with I didn't really mess with ranked at all. I did play with it a little bit more just so I didn't know if there was rank decay or anything, so my all-time high for season 2.5 was platinum 1, and I mean that's fine. Season 3, I believe I'm playing more competitive than I have quick play, but the problem with season 3 is it's incredibly challenging. At this point, there should not be any kind of discrepancy between the players' skill levels. Like, I'm still getting matched up with people who are in one above all, eternity, that kind of stuff. I don't know why that's still happening, even as far as going into gold 2. That should not be or not gold 2, gold 1. It should not be happening at all. I don't know why it's like that. I've had way too many games where I have maybe at least one grandmaster or maybe like a one above all or an eternity player on my team, but then the other team has several of those high ranking players, and then I'm kind of stuck with people who feel like they're just starting out as DPS players, and the DPS lately, at least from my own experience, has been severely lacking, and I feel like it's causing me to lose quite often, because there's a lot of times where I feel like, well, not feel like, I know that I'll be a whole lot better off being a DPS instead of healing, because I'm coming across a lot of Moon Knight players, a lot of Bucky players, a lot of Black Widow players. I've always questioned the need to bring in a Black Widow when the teams in particular that we're going up against aren't the greatest matchups for Black Widow. When it comes down to the brawler heroes, like the tanks, a lot of times the Hulk, he may or may not be getting banned. A lot of times the Hulk doesn't get banned, and when he's not banned, he's being played. But at the same time, Wolverine gets banned, and that becomes a problem because not very many DPS heroes, or at least I should say players, not the duelists themselves, not the heroes themselves, but the players themselves, they just don't know how to deal with a Hulk. And a lot of times I'll open up in the team chat and say like, hey, can we get Punisher and someone swap to Punisher and make use of his shotgun and just decimate the tanks, whether we're coming across a Thor or a Hulk or an Emma. Punisher is a really good alternative to Wolverine, but no one wants to make that switch, and then I can't make the switch because no one wants to swap off their role, so I can swap over to them and they can swap off into heal, because a lot of times I'm stuck healing in those games and just no one wants to do it. That's the other problem too, that I have a lot of issues with competitive this season, is players are still very anal about wanting to swap off their role. I don't know why competitive has always been like that. Yeah, it's always great to be able to kind of find your stride when it comes to particular heroes that you're good with, but a lot of times you may be good with a particular hero, but if it comes down to it, that particular hero, no matter how good you are with it, is probably going to be getting countered pretty badly. But what happens when someone's being countered heavily and they don't want to swap off to someone who can actually beat that counter and basically soft counter that particular hero? Well, no one wants to swap off, and what ends up happening is we end up getting snowballed. I've been on the receiving end of a lot of snowballing matches where the matches themselves, a lot of convoy matches in particular, these convoy sessions don't even last for more than, I don't know, maybe like 6-7 minutes. I've also been on the receiving end on some incredibly fast domination games that are lasting, I don't know, by the time the game starts, the other team has already captured the point, and my team just doesn't want to make the effort to go in and capture those points. They never want to make that push. A lot of times when I'm using a heal, like specifically Cloak and Dagger, I'll play Cloak a lot when it comes to domination games, and I'll go ahead and set up my team with an ult, and I'll go and just leave a line of healing for them all the way from spawn to point. They don't even want to make the effort to push and take advantage of the ult. What happens? We get spawn camped. So that's happened quite often too. It's becoming an issue. I think the biggest issue right now with season 3 is, yeah, we are pretty late into the season as far as the rank stuff goes. Placements, everyone should kind of be comfortably placed where their skill ceiling is telling them to be at. But I'm still getting paired up with Celestials, one above alls, Grandmasters, high diamond players in gold. I was in a silver 2 game, I believe. I still got paired up with a Celestial. I don't know how that works when that Celestial player should probably already be in Celestial. So I'm not sure what's going on. I really don't know. I've been in the receiving end of a ton of games where my team just can't even get 1 kill, and I'm the only one who has like maybe at most 2 or 3 kills if I'm lucky, because no one wants to make the effort to kind of, learn their heroes. It feels like people are playing ranked for the first time ever and not going into quick play to learn that specific hero that they're using. That kind of needs to change. I don't know, maybe they should make some more adjustments to the new player experience, maybe increase the amount of quick play games you got to be playing, or increase the level cap. I don't know what the new player experience looks like now, like what are the restrictions, what are the requirements they need to meet before they can play competitive, but something needs to change. And of course, you know, there's only so much you can do when it comes to a Smurf account. Season 3 is kind of a mess. Of course, it's also a little bit challenging too. I do like the fact that I am going up against a lot more skilled players, a lot more challenging players. It helps me better myself, whether I'm using Thor, who I've been using a lot lately in Season 3. I don't know. Thor has always been one of those heroes I've been wanting to learn. I don't know why. I don't know what about his particular playstyle kind of pulls me in, but he's fun to play, especially when you can play him really, really aggressively and you have good healers to back it up. And he becomes a blast to play and always kind of satisfying to get kills with him. I've also been trying to pick up Plan B and Plan C duelist characters, so that way if someone is using Bucky and they're pretty good with Bucky, I don't have to worry about using Bucky myself to counter. I only ever bring in Bucky when I need to do, or when the team needs anti-air. So now I'm picking up secondary characters like Psylocke, a little bit more of Magic. Magic is pretty fun to play. I'm trying to play her as more of a flanker. So that's kind of what's going on right now with Season 3, at least in my opinion. It's challenging, but it's also a mess, and I think the matchmaking is probably the messiest it has been so far. That's kind of my whole thing right now in Season 3.